So, I like to, when I think about this, I like to use Don Rathman's form plus sign equals wit. Tell me about your family, occupation, recreation. What do you do when you're not working? What matters to you? What skills do you have? Interests, goals, needs. And that tells me what's important to them, because now I know how we can coach them together to help them go through it. If the upline hasn't already given, like if I'm doing this with, so Pam Alvarado, if I'm doing this with her and she brings in a new rep, more than likely we've already shared my business and product story with them. But if you haven't, this is your time to do so, and you want to be able to keep that part really brief. And then basically, if I were doing this with Pam, she would mute herself, and then I would be reading from the script to take on the rest of the meeting. So the new rep gets to listen and add to the conversation when asked by the upline. So anytime you know where the script part is this stuff written in white lettering with an orange background. That's your script. So you know exactly what you're supposed to say. So I would say to them, I'm reading from a script now. Welcome to your getting started meeting. First off, we love you no matter whether you do a little or a lot. This is your journey, but our job is to make sure you get a great income experience right from the start, and then you get all that you want out of this opportunity. The steps we will go through today will help you do that. Does this sound good to you? So letting them know, this is important. I think that they know that whether they decide to do a little or a lot, it is on us to at least make sure that they know that we want them to know what's available to them. I don't want anyone ever saying, well, wait a minute, I didn't know that you could have a corporate benefits package and that you could get your husband out of the military. Like, I want to make sure that we're painting that vision for them, whether they want to do a little or a lot. Because how many of you guys got in here to just offset the cost of your product? How many of you didn't have the vision painted? We got to paint the vision a little bit. Okay, so we use our tried and proven system, which is the mission-driven model. So it says click here. You click there and it's going to take you right to the Getting Started tab. Now you can do this in person, which is ideal, or you're going to want to do it over on Zoom. So again, this shows click on the Getting Started checklist, and most things that actually have a link are in bold. So you can click on that again if you haven't already done that. And then you want to go through each section line by line and answer any questions that they may have. Now, you guys may remember the last time we had taken you guys through the Getting Started checklist, we went through the Getting Started tab, get moving, and I don't know, there's 3 parts. So I only remember it when I actually go through it. So your goal is to go through all that. So we're not going to give you the verbiage on every single parts of those. You can go back and review that video on what we talked about. So you kind of want to be a little read up and knowledgeable about what you want to cover with the Getting Started checklist, but you want to make sure after you go through those 3 points that you do click on the fast track. So you can click here or you can click on here. But again, you want to already be doing this in the mission-driven model. So you don't necessarily want to be showing them this unless you have it out in person with them. So you're going to want to go through the videos 1 and 2 together, but like Don Rathman does, I really like how she explains what you're going to do, and then she repeats the same thing, but she shows you this time. So I really like to correlate the pages that are connected to the video. So when you watch the HLP, you can go back into the HLP document that's right to the right or to the left of that video, and walk through that with them too, just to clarify and answer any questions. And then lastly, you want to click on the points chart, which is still in the Getting Started checklist, or again, you can click here just to confirm you're in the right spot. And you want to show them how, every single item of ours is PVC points. It has a different value. And you want to show them why it's so valuable to get to the sales coordinator position, so they're not leaving any money on the table. So that's really important. Also making sure that they know that you don't necessarily have to memorize all the points. That's why we have these tools there for us to go back and to refer to. So then what I kind of toyed with this because Bree and Peggy show, go to the Excel spreadsheet tracker, which is somewhere in the mission-driven model. Heidi and I couldn't find it. And for me, I'm just like, that's just another thing for them to download and keep track of. I would rather get them comfortable with the virtual office and figuring out how to figure out if they're close to their fast track to get their bonus or not. So this does involve taking them out of the mission-driven model and into their virtual office, but these are the steps. And I'm honestly amazed at how many people don't actually know, even leaders, how to track if their team is close to qualifying to a promotion or not. A lot of them call corporate and ask them, which is fine, but at the same time, help them take ownership in what they're doing. So you can go to your virtual office and you can click on it right here. It will allow you to open that up. And then it shows, you go to My Team Data, and then you click on Close to Fast Track Team Building Bonus. And it's going to have your fin in there. So you're going to want to enter in that new reps fin, change the level to 1. It's automatically level 6. And then you're just going to pick an order date, a start date 60 days from the day you're actually looking at, and then run the report. So here's the visuals of it. So I put that in there so you guys can memorize that and be able to teach your team. You know, a lot of times your brand new reps aren't going to have any orders in there yet, but I'm a huge fan of repetition and making sure they understand what it's going to look like. So all they then get to see is it tallies up the volume that they have, and you can say, look, you know, maybe they already have the 500 points, and say, you have the 500 points. We just need to lock in a couple households for you. So that's the first part of it. Then you want to talk about getting into action. So all 3 of you now in the participants need to get their calendars out. And then you're going to read from the script. The best way to really get your business off the ground and introduce Juice Plus to a whole lot of people is by planning, promoting, and hosting gifts. Events are so much fun and informative and can be done in a person or online. We'll be right there with you every step of the way. So let's get our calendars out and plan 3 events in the next 30 days. So your checklist is to just click on this link for explanations of the event ideas, or you can click on each one and it takes you to that particular spot. So, so just being able to go over with them, these are the 3 different events, and letting them know when you do these events, it's figuring out, like, you have to have a lot of tricks in your bag, because everybody likes doing different events different ways. So we have to become an expert in learning what works for us, but also being able to lead a team through that. So that's it. Once you do that, once you get the calendar in place, and I would say probably set some expectations at that point, and of like, here's what I expect for you as my, you know, downline. I respect your time, you respect mine. You know, like, you definitely want to be available to have conversation and all that kind of stuff. So I won't kill that, because I want to leave a lot of time for conversation, but I think there's a point in setting expectations in this. And then lastly, this is the last part of the script you read. It was so great getting to know you better today. I am so happy to welcome you onto this team. Now you have all the tools you need to get started successfully. Let's stay closely connected on Voxer, especially in these first few months. We are here as your leaders, as well as the greater team, to walk alongside you through this journey. That's it. Any questions?
Christy, this is a maybe an odd question, but I don't know how to share my screen on Zoom. I know that's like sort of like a techno thing.
Brenda.
Yeah,
no,
show me how to.
Perfect.
Yeah, show me how to do that.
So when you're looking at your Zoom screen, so if you're looking at everybody's faces right now and it looks like the Brady Bunch, take your finger and move your mouse down, and all of a sudden at the bottom bar, there's like this options that pop up. And right, if you were to draw a line right down the center, you would see a little square with an arrow pointing up, and it says share screen.
Yep.
You would click on that, and then when you click on that, it's going to show everything that you have already open on your computer. Now, that's important that you have things open on your computer before you start sharing, because you need to select what it is that you want to share. So click on that and then click share screen, and it'll automatically start sharing and everyone will see it. And then when you want to stop.
All right, I don't have anything open on my page,
okay, so
but I'll just pull up my Juice Plus page just.
Perfect. Yeah.
What the heck, just to see if it works. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Let me see.
So while Brenda's doing that, Christy, would you recommend putting this like right on your desktop so it's easy to get to? Is that what you do?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I would. You know, you're going to get familiar with it. Printing it out is great too, but you know, I think I put the links in there for people to click on, for people who've never done this before. You know, they may think, okay, I have to click on the PVC points, but what one is it? And maybe they navigate themselves out of getting started. So I want that to be that checklist of saying, okay, there's the PVC points. Now I'm going to, yeah, you got it, Brenda.
So do you see my Juice Plus page?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Cool.
Easy breezy. Right. So now move your mouse up to the top, and you'll see an option that says stop sharing.
Hold on, I can't get get you back up.
That's okay. Just if you're looking at the screen that you're sharing with us, move your mouse to the top of the top of your computer.
Okay.
Keep going up, all the way up to the top.
Oh, and okay.
You see like a stop share.
Stop button? Share. Now I'm back.
Perfect.
Got it. Thank you.
Easy, right? Yeah, that's an important skill to actually know.
Yeah, because I never knew how to do that. So I'm like, you're telling us to go on a Zoom, and I'm thinking, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. So
okay,
that's good.
Cool.
Yeah. So I would have, for the people who've never gone through the, or who are still getting familiar with the getting started checklist, that's why I put all those links in there so you can double check yourself as you're practicing before you take someone through it. But having it printed out if you want to make sure you're reading the script correctly, totally fine. So for example, a lot of times if I'm doing a presentation, and I'm not necessarily sharing my screen, you may not realize it, but I may have notes right in front of me that I'm looking at, even though it looks like I'm still looking at you. So I would also have that on too. So you could essentially have your downline, the sponsor, be sharing the screen, and you can give directions of now, okay, Kathy, click on this and click on that while you're reading everything in front of you.
I have a quick question.
Uh-huh.
In regards to people who are more self-starters, I have a new rep who is kind of like, just send me everything and I want to just go through it and click all the buttons and figure it out. Would we send them just the getting started checklist or this form that you are now showing us?
I almost make it a non-negotiable. Like, it's great that they want to click around and do stuff, but they have to meet their upline. This is a relationship business, and the sooner we let them know that you're not allowed to do this business on your own, the better. So it's great. You can click, you can go through the getting started checklist, that's fine, but just know that the best way for you to learn is for us to walk you through it and cover things that aren't mentioned in that checklist. This is kind of like a bullet point, like PowerPoint. So not everything's covered, but you can be a self-starter. I tell my team, and I should probably be careful about what I say, but the mission-driven model is there in case I get in a car accident and I never come back. You don't need me to build this business. However, I'm here to support you and take you through this, but the mission-driven model is there for your self-starters and for anyone who wants to take that $50 they just invested and actually build their own storefront. Anything else? If not, I have a question for you guys, because you guys are our leaders.
I was just going to mention something.
Uh-huh.
For those of you, I'm sure everybody on here knows they can have their own Zoom line for free, right? Where you can have up to 50 people. So just in case anybody didn't know that. And you can even make your Zoom line your phone number.
That's such a good point.
Christy. So just
the
have your own Zoom line for free.
You have to
How
have
do
Zoom.
you change it to your phone number?
If you have Zoom, the Advanced, the Pro, what is that called? Then it actually gives you the option that you can change it to your phone number, which is really handy.
You
can have longer Zoom sessions than, I think it's 30 minutes normally. You can go beyond that, and I think you can have more people on as well. So if you do a lot of Zooms, I think it's definitely worth the extra investment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because with the pre version, you get a 40-minute time limit. And these launches typically do take an hour. So you almost have to, like, at 30 minutes, when you get the 10-minute notification, be like, okay, we have 10 minutes left. We need to get off Zoom real quick and everybody come back on so that you have another restart of 30 more minutes and you can go over a little bit. Because then, if you go the full 40 minutes and it expires, then you have to let them know what the new link is to get on. And it's just kind of a hassle. However, the free version I do love is that it causes you to learn how to be brief when you're using it for other calls. We have to be very respectful of people's times and let them know that's a lesson that we all need to focus on. Bob Samara says, my time is like oxygen, and that couldn't be more true.
Really quick, I may have missed it since I got on a couple minutes late, but you said that everyone would have to get off. Is this now something that we are doing with Upline as well, or is this just us and our new rep?
It depends on where you're at in the business, I think, and how confident you feel. I think at first you should use your, the first couple times, because we're getting this going, I feel like you should use your Upline NMD just to get, just once or twice, just to get it going together, but then give you enough the skills to just be like, okay, I got this. Like, this should be very duplicatable. That's why we put this, this launch together. That's why we went through the getting started checklist with you guys the week prior. So we want you to do it on your own, but I think it's okay. Like for my team, if they're not fully confident, I'd like for them to use me one time, on here. Although looking at my team on here, I'm really not worried about them at all. So it depends on, who it is, I think.
Yeah, or your upline leader. It doesn't have to be your upline NMD unless you're
right.
If you have, a senior sales or Q who is your sponsor, then you can use them. It doesn't have to be your national marketing director. But definitely everybody needs to meet the national marketing director.
Yeah. So if you guys don't have questions, I have a question for you guys, because for me, expectations are really, really important. And I didn't lay them out when I first started this business because I didn't know. And I also came into this business, I didn't necessarily treat this business like a business, but I was a professional about it. I got on calls when I said I was going to get, when I was getting on calls, even to the point where you have if you create an event inside your team page and you say you're going, I expect that you're going to be there. So it's just like, when you have an event and you have guests who say they're going to come and they don't come. Okay, we know that there's a ratio on that. But when it comes to your team, you got to be on there, so what are some of those expectations that you would like? I'd like to make a list of saying, yes, this is your business. You can work it part-time. You can treat it like a business. You can treat it like a hobby, but I treat this like a business. So I need to make sure that we're respecting everybody on here. So what do you feel is important?
Hey, chime in here. So one of the things that I really set forth with new reps is sort of their time expectations with this business. They can do a little, they can do a lot, but if they actually, want to plug in and be successful, there's, what we say our team call every Sunday at 7:00, non-negotiable. You should be on there. We also have our Fast Track to VF call that we do at 8:00 on Mondays, and then our Facebook party on Monday nights that follow that call. And we set that up for a reason, so we can, have that kind of layering right there, right? Facebook party. So those things right away are sort of it's not like it's non-negotiable. We're not going to hold their feet to the fire by any means, but we're telling them, if you want to be successful, these are the things you need to plug into. And we're talking an hour a week? I mean, that's really nothing. And I know they're a little bit trickier for some people because of church events and stuff like that. We do record that call, but last night we didn't record the VF call. So if you weren't on, you weren't on, and that's FOMO, somebody graduated. It was fun. So expectations right from the beginning. So when you're doing these calls, what we've been doing is yes, we talk about the Facebook group. Yes, we talk about our Shred group, but we talk about our team stuff that we do as well. So from the beginning, just setting that up. Not to scare them, but just to let them know it's really fun to get to know everybody. You get to see our culture. It's really fun. So
that's awesome. I love that. So even when you do get the calendar out and say, these are your 3 events that we're going to do to build your business, these are the weekly events that we plug into. And based upon your goal, we would think that you would at least, if not join, because there's nothing like being on a live call, just like this, being able to ask those questions, but also being able to say, if you can't, then I need you to watch these. I've got a girl on my team, Joanna Polk, who she always texts me if she can't be on a call. She texts me the next day and says, I watched this. Man, that's like what you want. That's someone who's a pro.
When I was at the Buckeye Boot Camp and somebody was doing a training on events, and she had a slide up and it said, are you a guest or are you a host? And what she meant by that is that, if you're a host, then what are you doing? You're there, you're getting everything ready, you're making sure everything looks nice, you're making sure that all of the supplies and everything that you need for that event is there and ready and accessible and everything. And so, I know we do a lot of kind of combined events with our teams, and that's really the most fun events that we have, are events that we're putting on with several different reps together. So, if you are a rep and you're going and somebody else is hosting at their house the salad in a jar party or the wine and wellness or whatever it might be, it might not be at your house, but you're still a host. So what does that mean? That means that you are getting there early to help. You're getting there, you're available to set up, you're staying after to help clean up, to put stuff away. You're making sure that the host, the person who's actually having to clean their house for this event, isn't also having to grocery shop for everything. And you're bringing food, you're bringing wine, you're bringing stuff for smoothies, whatever it might be, to help out. Because no matter if it's at your house or not, you're still, as a rep, you're still a host. And so it's really important that we, pull together in those types of events to make it a really great event.
I love that.
Well, I like to make sure that they know that Voxer is our form of communication, and that, like in the beginning, that they stay in touch with me, like on a regular daily basis, if not, more than once a day. But just to let them know that that is, the best way to be engaged, and also for them to share their questions, successes, if they have frustrations, always letting them know that there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows in this business, and that we want to hear about the highs, but we also want to hear about the lows, so that we can help work through that. So because I think that if they don't get tuned in to Voxer, what ends up happening is they text you or they call you, and then you create this bad habit of communicating with them in other means.
That's a really good point.
I love that. Sorry, I want to just say my sponsor is Julie Herbst, and she always taught me to lead people back to the resources, and that, it's okay if they text you, you don't have to text them back. You can say, you can text them back, hey, I answered this on Voxer. So lead them back. Because, sometimes we do have reps who want to use alternate ways of communication. And it's no big deal if you only have three reps, but when you are growing a business and you've got 20, 30, 100, 200, 500 reps, if they're all texting you, your phone is literally blowing up all day long, and that's not quality of life. And we want to work smarter, not harder, especially as your business grows. Nobody wants to be a national marketing director who doesn't have any quality of life and is working from, 8 to paint, right? We want to be national marketing directors. We want to be successful so that we can also enjoy our life and have downtime. And so it's about protecting your time. So it's okay to lead people back to the resources very gently and then also by, teaching them to fish. If they're asking you questions that can be easily found on Mission Driven Model, don't give them the answer. Tell them where to go find the answer so that they can then be, learning while they're learning, right?
Great points, Carmen. Thank you.
Does anybody else have questions about this before we wrap it up here with a little call to action? Or any questions? It doesn't have to be about this. We are obviously really excited to use this. So it's really awesome. A couple things that we want to, where are we going this week? You guys, obviously we're shredding right now. I don't know if you are officially yourselves. I hope you are, if you are leaders. And you're trying to lead your team, you're leading by example. So, right now, and you guys, you're at a level that's high enough that I know that your shred customer care is on point, right? You are checking in. Right now we're checking in with our personal shredders, daily, at least once a day. So I have a texting group with my personal shredders. We also have a really awesome Facebook group, that we do. And I just want to tell you guys, as leaders and as people who are going to have customers, it's important for you to be active in your group, whatever Facebook group you're in. If you have any customers in there, they need to see you posting. We've been, in the last few days, we've been encouraging everybody to share their why. Some people are doing live videos, some people are posting, but you need to get in there and do that. You need to encourage your customers to do that. The more active you are in that group, then they're going to see it. They need to see you being active, not just the leaders of the group or your national marketing director. So really, really focus this week on that, on checking in with them daily, and and providing some support in your groups. And then also we're going to be sharing this, this absolutely beautiful startup that we just have put together. And so go through that. You guys are all going for leadership positions, so you have team. It's important that it's coming down the leash. We're sending it to you. You need to make sure everyone on your team sees it, because we can't go through our entire teams and make sure everybody has seen all the new stuff. So as information comes from us to you guys, it's so important that you take your teams through it. Hopefully they're getting on these calls and connecting, but then they are not all doing that. So really important, make sure anybody on your team has this and knows how to use it and practices going through it. You can practice a few times, just by going through it with your team members would be a great way for you to practice and then for them to see it. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. Lastly, we are still this blinder blitz, right? If you've got 5 minutes, guys, I'm telling you, it's going to impact your business in a way that you can't even think that 5 minutes or 10 minutes could. But sometimes, focus your time. When do you have 10 minutes? Set your timer and just reach out to people. Yes, it creates more activity for you, but it's awesome. So those 3 things really: focus on customer care, walking people through this new startup, and then the blinder blitzing is what we really want you to focus on this week. Any questions?
Yeah, when do we get it? I want it now. Like now.
I already uploaded it. I just uploaded it to the
Hey.
Cherry bombs.
I got you. I like it, Tim.
Okay, bye. See you guys.
And get your team on here.
I do.
Get your
Right, there's one.
teams on here. So awesome. We want to fill these calls. This is the biggest call we've had so far. I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's on the cherry bombs, and we'll all share it, obviously in our own groups as well, but you guys should all be in the cherry bomb group. So Tim's already found it. He's out on this.
Yeah, see ya.
So the PDF is not going to be loaded to Mission Driven Model. It's going to be a separate form.
It might eventually be on Mission Driven Model, but we're not there yet.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty enough to be, since Christy Nix made it. But this is just something that we have put together as a group. It's not coming from corporate. Does that make sense? Okay.
Awesome. All right. I'm gonna play
You guys rock.
Bye, guys.
Hi, thank you.
Bye. Thanks, leaders.
Yeah.